Joseph Debney has been the director of the Board of Elections and Voter Registration for Charleston County since 2011. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with him one-on-one. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. And listen to this interview later on iHeartRadio. Joseph Debney, it is so good to see you again.
You too.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I understand, obviously, you are the director of the Board of Voter Registrations and Elections here at Charleston County.
Yes, sir.
I was trying to remember that. And obviously, you've been here since 2011. I know that you told the Postal Courier this quote, "I'm excited about my new challenge in Charleston County. I'm looking forward to focusing on increasing voter turnout, educating the public about elections and voter registration, and improving the voting process in Charleston County." What is the biggest difference between 2011 and right now as far as your job is concerned?
Well, 2011 we started off as just doing municipal elections. That was a municipal election year.
Yeah.
And as we moved throughout the next few years, we increased voter registration totals. We had an outreach position that we created. We were one of the first to do that in the state.
Right.
We added from one absentee location, which was here in our office, which was inadequate,
Wow.
to going off to North Charleston,
Yeah.
Mount Pleasant, and West Ashley. So we've increased all those different things as we've been here for a while.
Wow. One of the questions I was thinking about last night is this. How do you and your office prepare for election day on a typical day?
So actually this week we were in this room with all my supervisors and we were going over what are the things in 2018 that we can do better,
Okay.
that we didn't do better.
Okay.
What are the things that we always need to do, like increase voter registration, but not just increasing voter registration, enabling the public to get out and vote.
Okay.
So how do we decrease election lines?
Okay.
How do we get better polling places? How do we increase absentee turnout? So those different things that we were all brainstorming about and how we want to move forward in the next year.
What is it like on a typical primary day or election day in your mind?
It's pretty crazy. So this room that we're in right now turns into a call center. So we go from about 17 staff,
Okay.
full-time staff,
Right.
to about 60 temporary staff. So we increase a huge bit, and that's not including poll workers.
Sure.
So just in this office, we'll probably increase to 5 to 10 people in our call center. And we'll have people, we're trying to work with the chat system right
Oh, yeah.
now so we can have that for millennials who are coming into their own. So it's, some people just don't want to talk on the phone. It's easier just to chat.
Chat, yeah.
We're trying to get our website to a better place
Okay.
so it can be more responsive to folks. We increase just support staff. With those absentee locations, we have to hire supervisors over those locations
Sure.
and then staff to staff those locations who work sometimes 14-hour days. And so we try to do all those things as we go into election years.
How many responses have you been receiving on your website?
Well, we get some. So on the website, we have outreach section, we have poll manager section, and we have voter registration.
Sure.
So our voter registration queue grows every election by about 1,000. So in our queue, we have about 1,000 every day.
Wow.
And so we're processing those. Those aren't just always new voter registrations. They could be like a change of address.
Sure.
Or I just moved into the county,
Right.
help me out. So we get a ton for voter registration. For outreach, our calendar, since we started it in 2013,
Yeah.
has just continued to increase. So we do the Black Expo.
Yeah.
That's one of our big ones. We go to small towns like Meggett
Oh, yeah.
or McClellanville.
Yeah.
We've even gone out of the county to Jamestown
Right.
to help out. We've partnered with some churches in the area, like Royal Missionary.
Yeah.
And they have a broad reach of parishioners who come from different counties. So even as we're doing all of those types of
Right.
things, we will do photo IDs, voter registration. We'll ask people if they want to do poll manager applications. We'll do all those things, and then if they're not part of our county, we'll send them to the correct county. So those, even though those counties may not have an outreach coordinator, we can sort of serve as their outreach coordinator.
And as we sit here right now, when you look back to 2013 to, 2011 to right now, what is that big race that was challenging for you in your office, in your mind?
I would probably say it was this past election, the 2018 election.
Wow.
And so we've had, since I've been here, so just to let you know, I came from the State Election Commission. And after I came from the State Election Commission, I came to Charleston County to train poll workers.
Sure.
And then left to be director of Dorchester County, and then came back to Charleston County. So in that period of time, I've seen from 2004 presidential election till now. The 2008 presidential election, I was in Dorchester County. That was a big election that no one thought it would be as big as it was.
Okay.
I think the 2018, 10 years later,
Right.
was similar.
Okay.
It was something, it was a midterm election. Nobody thought it was going to be as big as it was. We were only 9,000 voters short of what we did in 2016. So we came very close to seeing presidential numbers in a midterm election. And so in order to staff for a midterm election versus a presidential, it's harder. Poll managers, voters, they generally focus on presidential years because that's the one that gets the most media coverage.
Right.
A midterm election doesn't generally. When we try to recruit people to work for a midterm election, it's harder because of that reason. And so we get a lot of people who say, I just want to work presidential election, I just want to do this. So it's harder for us to staff. So I think that has been the biggest challenge is staffing.
And when you look at Charleston County, where did you get most of the votes from in the 2018 election?
Like which area?
Yes, sir.
I think it was just widespread. I don't think there was one particular area that shot up above any other.
Okay. And let me get back to this too. What was the biggest this year? Was it the paper ballots or was it electronic ballots in your mind?
Biggest issue?
Or which one did they use the most, paper or?
They use electronic.
Okay, okay.
Our paper ballots pretty much stayed the same
Okay.
over the course of the past couple of elections.
Okay.
It's been those off-site locations that we do, Mount Pleasant, West Ashley, North Charleston, those continue to grow. In 2016, we were somewhere around 60,000.
Wow.
And this year we were right around 40.
40.
So it's a big jump that we continue to see in the absentee. And when you go to one of those locations, you're
Right.
using the voting machine.
And you heard a lot about that this past year, the absentee ballots. How did you deal with that in your mind?
Absentee ballots aren't bad in our mind. We actually really push hard on getting people to vote absentee.
Okay.
We believe that one of the ways we can alleviate long lines on election day is to continue to increase absentee voting in Charleston County.
Okay.
And we saw that in 2016. We saw a 12% drop on election day. We want to maintain election day for those folks who want to just come out on election day and vote, but we want to make it so that it's easy for them to get to the polls. We don't want to make it where you have a 2 or 3 hour wait in line. That should never happen. And we are working hard to make sure that doesn't happen in Charleston County.
And when you look at a paper ballot, what do you look at in your mind?
I like paper ballots.
Okay.
I think it helps people who cannot get out.
Okay.
So there are folks who can't get out, who can't get to the polls, who can't go and vote absentee. They may be in an assisted living facility or nursing home, or just can't get out. They don't have the transportation issues. And I think we as election officials need to also think about those folks who can't get out and do like others who have vehicles and whatnot. And we need to also make sure that we are focusing our efforts towards them as well.
And what's that process like as far as a person getting a paper ballot?
It's very easy. So January 1 of every single year, you can go ahead and request an absentee ballot from our office. You can call our office up, and we will go ahead and put you on a list for any eligible election that you are that you might have throughout that year. So for this year, we have all the municipal elections. So Meggett, Sullivan's Island, Hollywood, we'll have in the spring, and then pretty much everything else will be in November. So if you have, if you want an absentee ballot, you want to be on that list, all you have to do is call our office. And that's just at 843-744-VOTE.
That's good to hear. Now, when you think of the paper ballots from 2018 to now, how many did you receive in your office?
It's around 10,000, 17,000.
Okay.
So it's a pretty good number. We led the state in absentee voting.
Wow. Oh my. Well, tell me this. How many complaints did your office receive this past year when it came to paper ballots?
We really didn't receive a lot of complaints in regards to paper ballots.
Okay. And let me go back again. I know you talked earlier about the biggest race that you had, which was 2018 presidential election. Did you have any issues, particularly, say, for instance, in District 20, as far as Charleston County Constituent School Board?
Not that we are aware of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many about votes were tallied in that particular race in your mind?
I'd have to look at it. I don't really know.
Okay.
So this is one of the things that people
Okay.
assume that I would know.
Okay.
Like how many how many votes were tallied in each race.
Okay.
I'm not looking at the races on election day.
Okay.
We're not focused on that.
Okay.
We're focused on our people being able to get to the polls, and then at the end of the night,
Yeah.
do the people who sign in match the number of votes that were cast on the machines.
Okay.
And at that point, unless somebody has brought something to our attention, we're doing an internal audit, and then we send our information off to the State Election Commission, do an independent audit
Right.
to see if there are any numbers that might be off in a particular race or anything. And we didn't have any of that this past election.
Any other audits in the 2018 election in your mind?
What's that again?
Any audits in the 2018 election in your mind?
Right, we did all those audits, and every one of those audits
Okay.
passed.
Okay. And since you've been in office, obviously from 2011 to now, how many audits have you done?
We've done them for every single election.
Okay. And let's talk more about it, because 18,000 ballots I heard from District 20 were received by the voters. What do you say to that?
I haven't heard that at all. 18,000?
Yeah, that's what I heard from some of the people.
No, sir.
Okay.
If we have that issue, please call us.
Okay.
We are open office. If you want to come by here and talk to us about that,
Okay.
or state there's an issue with it, please
Okay.
do that immediately
Okay.
so that we can handle it.
Okay.
There are some instances where a person may have requested an absentee ballot,
Okay.
and then they are having it sent to a different state. Let's say they're out of state for work or travel or
Right.
whatever. Sometimes it takes a little while for that ballot to get to them. And if we ever see that, we have even footed the cause to do an overnight.
Right.
So we do anything that we can do to make sure those voters get their ballots. So if there's a chance that any of your constituents may not have received a ballot, please let us know immediately, and we will try to do everything we can to rectify that.
And any issues with machines that is in this past election in your mind?
Nothing other than calibration issues, which is kind of a statewide thing.
Yeah.
The machines are over 12 years old,
Wow.
and they are not using technology like your phone is
Right.
using. Like every year or so, we get a new phone,
Right.
and they've upgraded the technology.
Yes.
So these machines don't get that sort of technology. We have had screen replacements if we've had a screen issue,
Okay.
and we pay for a robust maintenance contract, and when we have the company come in and service those machines. But other than a few calibration issues, we haven't had any issues this past election.
And when you think of technology and voting, how hard or easy has it been for your office?
It's actually been really easy. Our past deputy director used to work for the voting machine company, so we had that information
Right.
with him. The current deputy director, he used to be the director in Dorchester County, and he has his background in computer science. So we've been really good with technology in this office.
And when you look at voting registration and elections in the future, where does your mind go to?
I think we need to do away with absentee voting and create early voting. And as we go throughout this next year, the State Election Commission has put out an RFP
Right.
for a new voting system. So that's something else that we need to look at. And whatever voting system we're going to have is going to have a paper element now. So voters will either vote on a ballot marking device, which is like our touch screens now, and it will print out a ballot that they will stick into a scanner.
Okay.
And so we will be able to do even more robust audits going forward. We were with a pilot project this past election with the State Election Commission on different types of audits.
Right.
We were one of those counties chosen, and we were happy to participate in that. And we want to continue to go forward to be as transparent as possible, put those audits out online so people can view them, and go through that process.
Yeah. And when you take off, obviously, your elections chief hat, who is Joseph Debney?
I'm just a regular guy. I'm just a regular guy from Florence County. Grew up on a farm in Florence County. Went to Charleston Southern University to study to be a pastor, and kind of fell into this current job. Just a regular guy.
Wow, pastor.
Yes, sir.
You still want to do that?
Maybe one day.
We'll see what God says. That'd be awesome, though. Yeah, wow. Okay, cool. Well, Joseph Debney, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate
Yes,
this.
sir. Thank you for being here.
Anytime. Thank you.